From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 17th, 2018. An incident last night in the West Bank that was first believed to be a terror attack was most likely not. 42-year-old Chava Roizen, an immigrant from the former Soviet Union, was struck by a Palestinian taxi near the Jewish outpost of Chavat Gilad. The taxi then fled. Magen David Adom paramedics tried to resuscitate Roizen, but she died at the scene. Israeli security forces suspected this was a deliberate car ramming attack and put up roadblocks in the area, searching for the suspect. Several hours later, the 63-year-old Palestinian driver turned himself in to Palestinian Authority police, saying he hit the woman by accident and that he took off from the scene because he was scared. Now, after a preliminary investigation, the IDF says it is highly likely this was an accident and not a terror attack. However, the Army said an investigation is ongoing and other possibilities have not been ruled out. The driver remains in PA custody. An Arab-Israeli man tried to stab an Israeli police officer today in Jerusalem's Old City. Police said the man came from the direction of the Temple Mount, approached a group of officers, took out a knife, and tried to stab one of them. The officers scuffled with the terrorist, and one of them shot him dead. The incident shut down the Temple Mount for a few hours while police conducted searches for possible accomplices. The terrorist was later identified as a 30-year-old resident of the Arab town of el-Fahim. And while reports of a possible ceasefire deal with terror group Hamas continue, about 4,000 Palestinians gathered at the Gaza border fence today for the weekly riots and violent demonstrations, burning tires and throwing stones at IDF soldiers who used riot control measures. Palestinian media reported that 7 Palestinians were injured. The Times of Israel cited sources in Israel's defense ministry saying the events of the day would be a test of Hamas's willingness or ability to enforce calm as part of a truce agreement. Several arson devices were sent over the Gaza fence, igniting 2 fires in the forest near Kibbutz Be'eri. Firefighters were working to put them out. And American firefighters who came to Israel to help their Israeli counterparts battle such blazes returned home last week. EVP, the Emergency Volunteer Program of Israel, shared video of Broward County, Florida firefighters who were surprised to find members of their local community waiting for them at the airport to thank them for their help. 10 firefighters left for Israel last month through EVP and the Jewish Federations of North America to fight the blazes sparked by the incendiary devices sent over the Gaza fence. Almost 300 young men and women were welcomed to Israel last night and honored for their plans to join the Israel Defense Forces as lone soldiers. They are part of the Israel Scouts Garin Tzabar program, which helps young Jews and Israelis living abroad who want to return to Israel to serve in the IDF, providing them with housing and support. A ceremony honoring them was held in Tel Aviv last night, attended by First Lady Sarah Netanyahu and Aliyah and Integration Minister Sofa Landver, who told the new recruits, though you have come without your families, you are not alone because there is no such thing as a lone soldier. From now on, you are part of the Garin Tzabar family, a part of us, the Israeli family. The new lone soldiers, over half of whom are women, arrived from all over the world, the majority, 212 of them, from the United States, as well as from Colombia, South Africa, Thailand, Finland, and the Ivory Coast, among others. Police in Romania arrested a 37-year-old suspect in the recent vandalism of the childhood home of Holocaust survivor, Nobel Prize-winning author, the late Elie Wiesel. As we reported to you earlier this month, hateful anti-Semitic messages were spray-painted on the home in Siget, which is now a museum. Co-founder of Limud FSU, Chaim Chesler, said the man's arrest was a relief. He said the graffiti incident caused pain and outrage all over the world, but it is reassuring, he said, to see that justice is being served. And police here in the United States arrested 2 suspects in connection with anti-Semitic vandalism on a synagogue. If you recall, last month, a swastika and other Nazi symbols were spray-painted on Sharei Tefillah Synagogue in Carmel, Indiana. WTHR television reports that the arrests and charges of the 2 men were announced yesterday by the FBI, local police, and U.S. Attorney Josh Minkler, who said when a criminal act deprives our citizens of a constitutional right, law enforcement must respond. Well, a British musician is using his creative talents to bring Israelis and Palestinians together. 27-year-old Dan Blackwell is the founder of the 4-Bar Collective. He's heading to Israel later this year to record 50 Israeli and Palestinian musicians and singers performing 4 bars of an original song, each one adding a layer with their voice or instrument. He said there's so many media reports in the UK about Jerusalem and Israel, and it's all about the conflict. He said, I want to show something beyond that there is a lot of good in Israel and a lot more going on. His trip is being funded by the Joe Strummer Foundation, established in memory of the late lead singer of the British band The Clash. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, August the 17th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by highlights from the Jewish Culture Festival in Krakow, Poland. At 8, comic book creator Neil Gaiman speaks at the 92nd Street Y. At 9, it's the film The Milk Trial. And at 10:30, it's Musica. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 5:30, a look at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 17th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.